In downtown Chicago, there's a building most people pass every day without ever really noticing it. It's wedged between two newer high-rises, modern glass towers that sparkle against the skyline. But this one, it's quiet. Almost too quiet. The facade is clean, the windows intact, the lights on in the lobby. It looks perfectly normal at a glance. But here's the strange thing, no one actually lives there. And according to the city's property registry, that building shouldn't even exist. The story starts with a man named Evan Carter, a mid-tier real estate agent trying to climb the ladder in Chicago's brutal housing market. He worked for a boutique firm that specialized in luxury rentals, high-rise condos for executives, athletes, and tech millionaires. Evan wasn't flashy, but he was reliable. The kind of guy who'd do extra showings on weekends, or take late-night calls just to please a client. He'd built a small reputation for being persistent. So, when his firm received an anonymous listing for a penthouse unit in a building he didn't recognize, Evan saw an opportunity. The email came through late one night, no sender name, just an address, 418 North Huron Street. Attached was a PDF with photos of a modern, sunlit apartment overlooking the Chicago River. The note was simple. Seeking discreet representation for private sale, $3.4 million. Serious buyers only. Evan checked the photos again and again. The view, the layout, the finishes, it all looked legitimate. But when he cross-referenced the address on the city's property map, he hit a dead end. There was a 414 and a 420 North Huron. But number 418. Still, he figured maybe it was a typo. Or maybe a new development hadn't updated its record yet. That happens. The next morning, he called his boss, Marianne Ford, to pitch it. She was skeptical at first, but the potential commission was too tempting to ignore. So she told him, fine. Go check it out. But take photos. Verify everything before you put our name on it. Evan scheduled a viewing for that afternoon. The anonymous contact sent him a text with a time and a code to access the lobby. No name. No phone number. Just, 2 p.m. Ask for Unit 601. When Evan arrived, the building didn't look strange at first. It was sleek, white marble lobby, chrome elevator doors, minimal signage. There was a faint hum of air conditioning and the low buzz of fluorescent lights. But what immediately stood out was the silence. No doorman. No concierge. No residents. Just, nothing. He waited a few minutes in the lobby before deciding to check the elevator himself. The button for the 6th floor worked. The doors opened smoothly. Everything was functional, too functional for a building supposedly off the books. When he stepped out, the hallway was spotless. Perfectly maintained. No scuff marks, no garbage bins, no signs of wear. Every door looked identical, gray with brass numbers, but the air was thick. Stale, almost chemical. He found 601 easily. When he punched in the code from the text, the door unlocked with a click. Inside was exactly what the photos promised. A pristine, high-end penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows, a view of the river, imported marble countertops, and custom lighting. It was beautiful, eerily beautiful. But something felt off. There were no personal items anywhere. No furniture except for the staging pieces, a couch, a coffee table, a few generic art prints. Everything looked unused. Like it had been arranged for someone who never showed up. Evan took photos, checked the view, and texted Marianne, "It's real. Looks incredible. Might be legit." Then he noticed something strange. From the window, he could see the adjacent buildings, the ones on either side. But when he looked down toward the street, the perspective was wrong. The view didn't match the skyline he knew. The curve of the river was slightly off. The traffic below looked faint, muted, like he was staring at a projection. He stepped closer, pressing his hand to the glass. It was warm. Too warm, considering it was late October. Then, behind him, he heard a faint creak. He turned around quickly. The door was still closed. But on the kitchen counter, his phone screen had gone black. Then lit up again. A new text. Do not be here after dark. No sender. Evan froze. He checked the time, 4:17 p.m. He had enough daylight left, but the message carried a cold, deliberate weight. He grabbed his things, took one last photo for verification, and left. The lobby was still empty when he reached it. No footsteps, no sign of other residents. But as he stepped outside, the automatic doors didn't open right away. It was like the system hesitated, just a fraction of a second, before letting him go. That night, he uploaded the photos, did some digging, and sent an inquiry to the city assessor's office. He wanted confirmation that the building existed under that address. They got back to him 2 days later. The reply was short, no record found for that property. The lot number associated with 418, North Huron is vacant land. No construction permits issued in the past 10 years. Evan rechecked the photos. The timestamp. The coordinates. Everything lined up. He'd been there. He decided to return. When he drove back that weekend, the space where the building should have been, was gone. Not demolished, gone. In its place was a narrow alley between 414 and 420. Cracked pavement, a dumpster, and a faded "No parking" sign. The address number, 418, was spray-painted faintly on the wall, half scratched out. Evan thought maybe he was losing it. Maybe he'd gone to the wrong spot. But when he pulled up the GPS location from his photos, it placed him exactly there. He went back to his office the next day, pale and shaken. Marianne asked what was wrong, and when he told her, she laughed it off at first. You probably mixed up the address. Happens all the time. But when he showed her the photos, her expression changed. She pointed to the window view in one image and said, "That's impossible. That's the old Weller Tower, torn down in 2009. Evan zoomed in. She was right. The Weller Tower had been gone for over a decade. Yet, in his photo, it stood tall and clear in the background. Marianne told him to delete everything. Forget it. It's probably some kind of deepfake scam, she said. People do weird stuff to trap agents. Just move on. But Evan couldn't. The images haunted him. He kept waking up at night thinking about the text, the voice in his head whispering, "Do not be here after dark." About a week later, Marianne called him into her office. She looked uneasy. Apparently, someone had left an envelope on her desk overnight. No return address. Inside were printed copies of Evan's photos. But this time, something was different. In the reflection of the glass window, a figure was visible. A tall man in a gray suit, standing just behind Evan. Only, Evan swore no one had been there with him. Marianne tried to trace the envelope. Security cameras showed nothing. The timestamp from the building footage just skipped. Like those minutes were erased. 2 days after that, Evan didn't show up to work. His car was found parked near the river, engine off, keys still in the ignition. No signs of a struggle. His phone was in the passenger seat, battery dead. When investigators checked the location history, they found the last ping came from North Huron Street, specifically, between addresses 414 and 420. The alleyway again. But what's worse, there were traffic camera stills from that night. In one, you can clearly see Evan walking toward the alley at 9:48 p.m. And in the next frame, less than 2 seconds later, he's gone. No exit, no shadow, no trace. Just empty pavement. Police later called it a voluntary disappearance. Claimed maybe he ran off or faked it. But his family didn't buy that. He'd just signed a lease on a new apartment. Had a dog. Plans. A future. A few months later, Marianne quit real estate altogether. She wouldn't talk about it to anyone. But in one late-night interview with a local journalist, she said something that stuck with me. She said, "I went back once. Just to see if it was really gone. And when I stood in that alley, for a second, I swear I saw the reflection of a glass door. Like the lobby was still there, just behind the air." Since then, a handful of people claim to have seen lights flickering in that gap between the buildings. Sometimes an elevator sound, faint and muffled, even though there's nothing there. And once, a night janitor said he saw a man in a gray suit standing by the curb. When the janitor turned back, the man was gone, but he'd left a card on the ground. It said, Unit 601, showing by appointment only. No number. No address. Just that. And maybe that's the thing about cities like Chicago. They build upward, they tear down, they rebuild again, but sometimes, something stays. Something that was never supposed to exist in the first place. And sometimes, when the lights flicker just right, you can almost see it, an apartment with a view that doesn't belong to any skyline. The building with no tenants. Waiting for its next showing.